Welcome to my film review. Train to Busan, a thrilling South Korean zombie film that has taken the world by storm. Directed by Yeon Sang-ho, this movie has been highly acclaimed for its unique take on the zombie genre, its engaging storytelling, and its powerful emotional moments. Set on a high-speed train from Seoul to Busan, Train to Busan takes you on a suspense-full and action-packed ride through a zombie outbreak that leaves you on the edge of your seat. In this review, we will dive deep into what makes this film so compelling and why it has captured the heart and minds of the audience worldwide. So, buckle up and get ready for a thrilling journey through the worlds of Train to Busan. Taking place on a high-speed train from Seoul to Busan, the story follows Suk-woo, a divorced workaholic and absentee father, and his young daughter, Soo-an, as they board the train to Busan to visit Soo-an's mother. As the train departs, a mysterious outbreak starts to spread throughout South Korea, turning people into violent zombies. One affected woman manages to get on board the trains, and chaotic ensues as the passengers fight for survival. Suk-woo and Soo-an team up with a group of other survivors, including Song-ha, a working classman, and his pregnant wife, and Jong-guk, a teenage baseball player. They soon realize that the zombies outbreak is rapidly spreading and that they must fight their way through the train cars to stay alive. Along the way, they face numerous challenges and heartbreaking losses, including the sacrifice of their several characters who try to save the others. As they reach Busan, they discover that the city has also been run over by zombies and that they have no choice but to fight their way to safety. Suk-woo and Soo-an must make a difficult decision that will affect the outcome of the journey and ultimately their fate. Train to Busan is an intense and emotional journey that explores themes of family, class conflict, and the importance of human connection. It has been praised for its compelling character, thrilling action sequences, and society commentary on contemporary society.
A cliché of the acting element in zombie movies is usually on a very low level, since the genre tends to focus on the action and the creators rather than the actual actors. Train to Busan, however, vividly depicts zombies portrayed as quick ones following the rules of Danny Doyle's 28 Days Later. This trait, along with their customary relentlessness and the train setting, which does not allow for much opportunity to evade the zombies, result in one of their most wondrous depictions ever. Furthermore, the sequences in which they collide while driving towards their target are incredibly awful, but the one that truly jumps out when they create a mass of some type in order to halt a moving train. Even the fact that their one flaw is that they can't see in the dark adds to the sense of danger they radiate, because the only way for the passengers to pass by is in the utter darkness.
Well, the life and death in Busan is a miniature society. There are all ages and social backgrounds. Each person has a different story, background, fate, and cannot unite. One of the characters I impressed the most is Suk-woo, a young father with the biggest psychological trait in the movie. Selflessness versus selfishness is expressed obviously through Suk-woo. When the outbreak starts, He raised his daughter through the train cars valiantly, fighting off his infected passengers. Eventually, he makes it to a safe car and shuts a door to prevent a couple as they reach him. After he finally decides to open the door for the couple and receives the husband's scolding and request for an apology, Segu explains that not closing the door would have endangered others, though I think he specifically is worried about his daughter. We could call his actions selfish, but they actually have to highlight why selfishness isn't necessarily aligned with morality. What should a parent do in this situation? Clearly, he believes first and foremost is to protect his daughter. Segu knows it is dangerous when he gets off at Daejeon station, so he relies on his relationship to identify the safe route. He doesn't reveal the secret to anyone and quietly leads his daughter down his own path. Suan, his daughter, disagrees with him and refers he cares about all people, not just himself and her. He loves his daughter more than his own life, so he'd do anything to save her, even sacrifice others. Gradually, the journey to Busan completely changes Segu. He comes to be much more selfless and caring towards others. His first acts of sacrifice for the community is when he decides to stay and block the train station doors for others to escape. Then, Segu, Seungkyung, Sanghwa risk their lives to go to Carriage 15 to meet the survivors. Why does he have a train apart? Well, perhaps partly because he witnesses the selfless action of others like Sanghwa, or maybe has a kind nature and those around him have to cultivate and encourage it. One of the most heartbreaking scenes of Train to Busan is the ending scene when Segu is beaten and turns into a zombie. In order to protect his daughter and the others on the last carriage, Segu used up what is left of his humanity to commit suicide. The tearful cry of his daughter and the image of Segu in his last moments as a human being only thinking of his daughter made viewers cry. Segu is not a hero. He trusts an ordinary father, even because he is busy with work. He does not have time to be close to his daughter. This character, like every other father in the world, even if he doesn't have the chance of a Superman, he will still sacrifice everything to save you at all costs.
Train to Busan is an audio-visual masterpiece with several show-stopping techniques in key situations. Yet, Jeon Sang-ho's direction and storyline prevent this from happening by instilling a number of aspects. One of them is drama, and occasionally melodrama, as is the shift in soft-voiced attitude, which is a really humane idea. Another element is the intricate narrative, which maintains the misery even as it crosses genres, as well as the doses of comedy that emerge sometimes via pandemonium. Both of the concluding sequences follow suit, with the dramatic element taking precedence over the action. The editing of an action film is one of its most significant features. Yang Chimo does an excellent job in Train to Busan, maintaining a steady and quick rhythm throughout, while occasionally inserting material that helps the film become more spectacular. Two sequences in particular stand out. The first involves moments in which the battling in the light constantly gives way to the struggle in the darkness, when the zombies remain motionless and vice versa. The second scenario shifts from him soul being slain while endeavoring to repel the monsters to the rest of the gang, who are attempting to enter the secure wagon against the desire of those already inside. Train to Busan is undoubtedly a blockbuster, but its complexity, artistry, and performance elevate it above other films in the genre.
So, after watching this movie, Train to Busan, I consider it a masterpiece of worldwide movie land. It was not only the train to Busan, right? It was the train of emotion and also morality. And I realized that there are several lessons that audiences like us can learn from that movie. Actually, when the first time I saw this movie's poster, I guess it might just be another horror movie in the market. However, it's actually something more. Selfishness, family, survival, and also human relationship are the core messages of this film. Train to Busan lends itself so much empathy, from its emotional heart to its unflinching look at the bad and worst in humanity. And for me, it's the most tear-jerking and heart-wrenching zombie movie I have ever seen. The lesson about the empathy among people. You know that during this film, the character Sang-hwa is compassionate and brave. He always puts the safety of others over himself. In contrast, Si-woo and Jung-suk constantly endanger other passengers for their own self-interest. And even his daughter Su-an recognized her father's lack of empathy through her speech during the film. You only care about yourself. That's why mommy left. And this scenes, I have to say, makes me cry a lot and realize that why people always say that empathy is like an indispensable part of one's morality. And it helps us understand how others are feeling so we can respond appropriately to the situation. And we can see that as the film is becoming more and more intense and the threat of zombies increase, the main character, Si-woo, begins to re-evaluate his behavior and starts to care for others. And I consider myself like a quite empathetic person. And as my parents always taught me that message since I was a little child. And when I feel empathy for others, I feel a sense of peace, connection, and perspective that I like. So that's all about the first lesson we can learn from this film. Now we should move on to the next lessons. Another core message of this movie is the importance of social responsibility. We are all taught that the time of crisis is the time that needs harmony and also generosity most. However, in fact, humans' selfishness always takes over morality in this time. But this movie shows us another view of the world. We all know that social hierarchy in South Korea is particularly complex, and I even use the word ruthless. Your place of birth, your family background, your place of residence, your clothing, or even your accents are all factors that lead to the judgment of status in this country. And in Train to Busan, the director was trying to show his audience that while greed and disregard for others are prevalent on the train, it's also full of people who understand their social responsibility and they work to help others. We can see the strong contrast between two groups of people on this death train. If the grown-ups like Si-woo or Jung-suk are worrying about keeping themselves and their family members safe, there is still a group of teenagers who try desperately hard to keep others safe. And Train to Busan supports this kind of character's morality. The director also gives them a strong voice as they stand in direct opposition to impersonal, socially responsible greed. And after watching this movie, I realized that social responsibility is also more important than ever in our today's world. Social responsibility can lead to greater trust among members of our society. However, I have to say, we haven't taken much notice about it. For example, there are several companies in our country and also all over the world that are still socially irresponsible sometimes. Through some some of their actions they did for our society. They can even do every illegal thing to make profits. They put their interests over everything, everyone. And I mean that we should really fight against those bad things to make our society better and better.
In the conclusion, I must say again that Train to Busan is not just another zombie movie. It's a film that has transcends the genre with its gripping story, complex character, and its timely themes. It's a film that has the power to make you laugh, cry, and cheer in equal measures. With its heart-pumping action, stunning visuals, and memorable performances, it's no wonder why Train to Busan has become the global phenomenon. The film's message of the importance of human connection and empathy is particularly resonant in today's world. In the end, Train to Busan is a massive film that will leave you feeling inspired, moved, and entertained.